What's going on, guys? We are Tottenham TV here. We beat Brighton yesterday 2-1 to move within 3 points of the top 4 after Chelsea lost at home to Southampton. This is your match review. Let's just get straight into what we thought of the game, because it was a game of two halves. There's quite a bit to talk about, but when you saw the initial lineup, did you think that we were going to set up so defensively, or as defensive as we were in that first half?
No, when I first saw the lineup, I thought it was going to be Jan Vertonghen at left back, like it has been recently. Ryan Sessegnon a bit further forward on the left wing instead of like a left wing back. But look, when I first saw the lineups and their lineup, I thought it was going to be a walkover, to be honest. You know, you mentioned to me that Brighton were playing a weakened side, blah, 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 and I thought we could really, go out and hammer them. But obviously that first half performance was just so negative, just lumping it forward, hoping for the best. Obviously Brighton take the lead, and then you're fearing the worst, and you don't know what's going to happen in that second half, but it all changed second half.
In the first half, we could have been 1-0 up in the first half if it wasn't for a marginal VAR decision. Wings played a lovely ball over the top, which into Kane, on the first time finish. We could have been 1-0 up.
Which personally I thought would have been against the run of play.
I disagree with that. I don't think it was against the run of play. I think it was an even game in the first half. I don't. Maybe Brighton would have shaded it, but I don't think it was. They were that much better than us. They did. They ended up going 1-0 up. But
also, when you're playing at home to a team like Brighton, if you're like on par or they're marginally better than you, then it is kind of against the run of play, because we should be battering a team like Brighton.
Yeah, but that's not how it works. It doesn't mean it's against the run of play just because they're marginally better. Like, the run of play wasn't even a game. I thought I looked, but they were. But it was frustrating because, as you said, we just kept lumping the ball forward over the top, looking for that space in behind, and it's getting a bit predictable. The teams will start figuring that out if we keep doing that. Yeah. And I feel like Sessegnon wasn't getting forward enough. He wasn't getting in behind the defence enough.
He did find himself in some nice gaps.
He nearly got a goal near the beginning. It was a nice block by the Schelotto, the Brighton defender, but. He wasn't making penetrative runs enough. I don't think he had enough confidence in his own play to kind of to assert himself from the game. I think he kind of let the game pass him by a bit, unfortunately for him, and that's why he did get taken off after 55 minutes. But he was just a bit reserved in his positioning. He wasn't just constantly bombing forward. I felt like he was just on the left-hand side. Staying back a bit too much for my liking, especially for someone of his pace and someone who should be full of confidence. But we didn't have any sort of control and possession. We weren't building up any passing moves.
We weren't
and
trying
it was
to
frustrating.
Control the possession. We weren't trying to control the possession. We had 5 at the back, we had 5 up front, and we were just trying to lump it over the top every time.
And every time we got it into Dele or one of the attacking players, it was loose. It wasn't. They didn't hang on to the ball. They were trying flicks and things, and nothing was really coming off for them. And except for Kane, apart from that moment where he went through and scored and it was ruled out, it wasn't involved that much. And obviously we did look a bit poor at the back as well. We didn't open. Brighton had a couple chances, but there weren't too many chances.
I think that was mainly due to our midfield. I thought our defence actually played really well. It was the midfield that just kept getting bypassed in Winks and Sissoko. But I thought Winks is alright, but like he really needs to up his game, because like recently, when's the last time he's put a good consistent run of games together?
And especially defensively, I thought he was definitely found wanting in this game. He was bypassed a few times.
That's what it was. He kept getting bypassed, and Sanchez and Alderweireld and Vertonghen kept getting it away.
Yeah, whenever he came to press any of the Brighton midfielders, they'll just get past him pretty easily. Yeah. And he ended up getting a booking for the free. He gave away the free kick, although looking at the replay, it was unfortunate because it looked like a bit of a dive. But he did give it away, and he could have been sent off in the second half if he wasn't being too careful. And as you saw, as soon as he made that challenge, that could have been a second yellow. Jose calls over Eriksen's like, all right, come on, get on. But he's now suspended for the game against Norwich, so we'll see what happens there. But second half, we did change it, Jose. He saw that we weren't able to get the ball on the ground and bring on Lo Celso, and I thought everyone kind of upped their game in terms of the energy that we were exubing. I thought that we definitely upped that. We started pressing the Brighton defenders a lot more intensely, and once we started pressing them intensely, winning the ball back ourselves, and once we had people like Lo Celso and Eriksen on the pitch who were able to use their technical abilities to kind of pick the lock, we looked so much better, 10 times better.
Yeah, but even in the first half, if we don't lump the ball forward and we try to play it like we know we can. You know, even Winks, Sissoko, Lucas, Dele, Sessegnon, Kane, they can all do that job. You know what I mean? We've seen them all do it before. So I don't know why like the tactics in the first half were like they have been the past couple of weeks. But also in the first half, I just want to mention Serge Aurier because I thought he had a very good first half and probably was one of our better players. And also Davinson Sanchez was probably one of the best players on the day. So, but moving on to the second half, like you said, I think as soon as Lo Celso came on and we actually changed the way we play football and getting it on the ground and actually trying to play some nice football, you saw it clicked straight away. And I thought Lo Celso was brilliant when he came on, and he made some nice recovery runs after like losing the ball and winning it back, which we love to see. And also Eriksen, you know, what more can you say about him? Because everyone has been digging into him for the past 6-7 months. He comes on against Wolves, nabs us an assist to get the winner, and again against Brighton, you know, lovely ball to Serge Aurier, heads it down to Dele, and what a finish that was. And
it's frustrating that Ndombele wasn't in the squad because he didn't feel right to play or whatever the
strange
excuse
comments,
was.
Wasn't it?
Well, I don't know, maybe, but he was apparently was worried about a recurring muscle injury. But he's a player who would definitely help with this problem that we're having in terms of not having any sort of midfield presence in possession. And our possession as well, that's a separate problem. I'm not sure he'll solve that too much, but especially in possession, we just feel like we can't play it through the centre. And I feel like he's got to trust these players like Lo Celso more in these positions because at the moment it's just I feel like we have this problem where we're going long far too often. It's becoming way too predictable, and we're not able to play through these teams like we should be able to.
Yes.
And we have the players to do it. I just feel, I don't know, maybe I'm just got to get into Jose's head as to why he's taking a different approach. Maybe he's thinking that because these comments he said before the game when he was talking about how he knows what we need to do to improve defensively, but he said he's worried that if he does it, he's going to start taking away from what we have going forward and what we have in an attacking sense. And that does worry me a bit when he says that, because it worries me that he has to take that we're not going to be able to have these good footballers who have good technical ability and good vision and are able to be calm in possession in the final third on the pitch from the start because he's too worried about the defensive process. And I do agree that the defence has been extremely weak and leaky and that needs to be improved, but we can't sacrifice against these teams at home just so we improve defensively, because we need to be able to have an authority on the game against these lower teams who are lower in the table at home. We have to be able to be on the front foot and have attacking mindset. Maybe I agree in these other games against the bigger teams, maybe that can be the case. But against Brighton at home, surely you have to be on the front foot.
Yeah, but having said that, I think if that Kane goal gets allowed in the first half, you're talking about potentially going on to win 3-4-0.
Maybe.
So there's an argument for that.
Yeah, I think it was unlucky that we was 1-0 to us, then all of a sudden 5 minutes later it was 1-0 to them.
Yeah.
So I thought that probably affected us a bit, but it's still frustrating.
But still, I get your point. Like if we play the formation and the system when Gio came on from the start of the game, I think we win that game comfortably.
Yeah.
Like really comfortably. But, I think Jose needs to learn.
We need to ask more questions of the opposition as a defensive point instead of just looking for balls over the top. Because if we keep doing that, it's going to become predictable and teams are going to figure out.
I think we're already predictable. I really think so. I think that in the majority of games we have just lumped it forward and just hope for the best. I
wouldn't say hope for the best. There's clearly a tactic, but it's because clearly it's a concerted effort to look for players running in behind over the defender. And to be fair, when you have players like Toby Alderweireld on the ball, they have the quality to find them. But I agree with you, it is too much. It can be too predictable.
It is lumping it up and hoping the best.
It's not hoping for the best.
When you're doing it every single time, if you've got a variety in your play, then fine. But you can't just do the same thing every time.
No, lumping it forward, hoping for the best is that would be just lumping it to someone's head and hoping for flick-ons and things like that. That's not all we're doing. But I do question where in the long term, if we keep playing that kind of way, how successful we'll be. because we have these great technicians who are able to pick locks, and if we're able to dominate possession with these guys on the pitch, we will find joy there, I believe, in the final third. But I don't know. Look, we'll see. I guess we'll see. We'll have to see where Jose goes forward, if he's going to start playing these players from the start. Maybe it's just we've got 2 games in 2 days. He's resting a few players, saving them for each game. I hope that's the case, but
we'll see what happens against Norwich, won't we?
Yeah, we'll do. Well, I'm hoping we start with a few more players going forward, and we're able to get the ball on the ground a bit more, because too many long balls can be a problem.
Yeah, but all in all,
7 wins out of 5.
Yeah, all in all, very happy with the 3 points. 7 wins in 5, I think.
You've got to give them credit for being able to chase down Chelsea. I know we lost against Chelsea, but clearly they have got their own problems. It's back to 3 points. And they got Arsenal next.
Nobody wants this top 4. Nobody wants it, Everyone keeps dropping points, and I think we've probably been the most consistent since Mourinho's come.
And I think when you look at the teams, United, Chelsea, I don't know if I can consider Arsenal still in the race, but
they're 6 points.
I think over the last couple of years, or 3 or 4 years, I think the team that we have has proven that they can be consistent over a long period of time. Yeah. So I think that I'm hoping that stands in good stead for us in the fact that when push comes to shove, we can show the consistency to get over the line into that top 4 where the others might lack that. That's what I'm hoping for, but obviously we'll have to see. We have to keep up these performances, and I think it's proven over the past few weeks that these games are never a given. And people say, he's won these games, but when it really matters, he lost it. I'm sorry, every game really matters. Every game is worth the same amount. Every game is worth 3 points, and you can't take any game for granted anymore. United losing to Watford, Chelsea losing at home to West Ham, Bournemouth, and Southampton. No game is a given. No game is an easy 3 points. So you got to take each win as it comes, and you got to give Mourinho credit. 5 wins out of 7 is a good start. So I know he lost the 2. Crunch clashes, but at least but the 5 wins have made the gap. That's what's made the difference to make the gap only 3 points. So hopefully we keep ticking these wins over.
Yeah, and like you said, people called Chelsea and Man United pivotal games, but all in all, they weren't really pivotal games, were they? Because we lost that Chelsea game to go 6 points behind them, but we've already cut that gap again. So that game's pretty much void kind of thing. And then
Arsenal play Chelsea next game. So if we beat Norwich, we're making 3 points.
Arsenal ain't going to get anything out of that.
True,
game.
Probably not. Or can make the gap 8 points to Arsenal.
Yeah, and that Man U game as well. Didn't they beat us that day to go above us?
They beat us to go above, yeah. And then
exactly, and we're already above them again. So look, I told
you, every game means the same.
I think that I think it's a toss-up between us and Chelsea for top 4. I think maybe you can consider Wolves and Sheffield United outsiders.
No, I think United are in there. I do think United are in there. I think they're inconsistent, but they've got a young forward line, and if they can find a bit of consistency, they could be. If Pogba comes into the side again and starts playing well, they could be something to worry about.
With United and Chelsea, it seems like they're all dropping points to the lesser sides, but taking points off the bigger sides kind of thing. Maybe lesser extent Chelsea, but definitely Man United, that's definitely the case. And Chelsea,
whereas we're doing the opposite.
We're doing the opposite, and I think it's much better to do the opposite than to do the former, you know what I mean?
I agree with you. I think these games against teams, I'd rather win every single game against a team below us than and lose every game against teams above us. That's a better way of getting results, in my opinion. But I think Jose might, especially United as well, in the big games, he has started losing his touch a bit, I feel. But so I know he's only had 2, so can't speak too much.
Yeah, but we've been shocking in both those games.
We have been shocking. It's early days, but we have been very bad in those 2 big games.
We'll see. Our next big game coming up is Liverpool, isn't it?
So yeah, well, we're seeing how they've dismantled Leicester. That's going to be fun. But look, credit where it's due. He's getting these wins, so let's hope he carries on.
All right. Well, there you have it. That's our match review. We move on to Norwich away tomorrow in the Premier League, which is going to be a big game. Exactly. If we can win this game and hopefully maybe Chelsea can drop some points, we'll go into the new year less than 3 points outside the top 4. So that could be big. Like, subscribe and comment and tell us what you thought of our match review. And as always, come on you Spurs.